good because when crypto goes mainstream, now we have the ability to buy things mainstream, not dark web, mainstream. And I'm not implying that I was ever on the dark web. I'm just talking to you about the way the world works. We have the ability now, through not through the dark web, but through mainstream vehicles, to use Bitcoin as actual real currency in America, Australia, Japan, multiple other countries that are starting and accepting Bitcoin as actual currency. And the second that that starts happening, that's when we're in trouble. This is when this is becoming too big for the government to disregard it. And I need you to understand the only way that this economy and this world works right now is through this monetary centralized policy of the central bankers. I'm not suggesting at all that I agree with it or that I like it or I think it's a good system. It's just the system that we have. And the system that we have will not work if the money supply is no longer within the purview and control of the central bankers of the world. So what I'm telling you today is while Bitcoin might be a tremendously great investment that you have taken from this point to date, once it goes mainstream, and we're talking mainstream now because, you know, you've got even TD Ameritrade, you've got Goldman, you've got TD, you've got things that are now trying to sell futures or derivatives on crypto. And so that's going to become more mainstream. You've got people that are ETFs that are trying to come out with fractionalized Bitcoin ownership, which will take it more mainstream, still as an investment. What you really, really, really have to look for and look at and caution yourself on is using it as a currency. Using it as a currency is what is going to be a problem for the central bankers of the world, because the second that we have a viable alternative to controlled money, and believe me, the world money supply, M2 money supply, it is a controlled money supply. The second that that changes, we have to be extremely concerned about how the government will start to treat cryptocurrency, because they, unfortunately, in America, we have $30 trillion, I'm rounding up a little bit, but after the coronavirus, we absolutely have $30 trillion of federal debt, $30 trillion. And the only reason that people around the world buy our debt is because they need US dollars to transact their transactions in. In other words, it doesn't happen now, but it used to be that China and India wouldn't trade between each other bilaterally in their domestic currencies. They literally would have to go, each of them, and buy dollars and trade goods and services through dollars. They don't do that anymore. They're trading now bilaterally in their own currencies. And so the less and less and less that the world reserve currency of the US dollar is needed and is necessary, we are basically cutting off our own money supply through alternative currencies. And I'm not advocating, please understand, I am not advocating against that. I am not a huge, monetary policy fan of how the